All right, so this is a follow-up of the I-90 pileup. I was speaking with a driver of a city bus. I was speaking with him yesterday, which was Saturday. At the time of this recording, yesterday was Saturday, but I was speaking with one of the bus drivers, and she said it was a really freak thing. It was only about a half mile, and that was it. About a mile to half a mile, a little over a half mile, and that was it. And people were flipping everyone crap about, well, maybe you need to learn how to drive. Why wasn't any de-icer down, or this or that? Well, I'm gonna debunk some of these myths here. It really was a very freak storm. I was in my little town with dense fog. And we were at this town that I'm in is a little bit above, where I live is just a hair bit higher by a couple hundred feet than where that area was. The fog was so dense, I physically could not see more than a half a block. More than half a city block. I could not see any further than that. Any further than a standard half city block. I could not see it. All right. Now, from what that driver had informed me of was that the whole darn road was really there was no traction. It started with a tractor trailer jackknifing. A city bus came to a stop behind it, got rear-ended, and before long it was literally a 70 vehicle pileup. Now, many people ask this question, are wondering about this kind of thing here, all right? And you cannot predict what you don't see coming. All right. Now, the driver had informed me that it wasn't until you crested the hill that you were in really dense fog. And it was also snowing only in that half-mile area. Really heavy snow. This driver described it as a whiteout condition by the time this driver had gone through. Pure whiteout conditions. And this driver explained to me she was literally doing about 5 miles an hour and actually stayed put at one of the stops. It was along the freeway. It's called the West Plains Transfer Center. And she informed him, this driver had informed me that she had actually waited a little while at that place and wound up, that area had, fortunately the bus system is pretty good and all that. Anyways, in the time she pulled in to the West Plains Transfer Center, she had in fact decided, no, it's not worth it. I'm not going any further. And she had just been through there. And she said, no, I'm stopping right here for a little while. I got plenty of fuel on board. I can keep everyone warm. Everyone's safe where we're not going to get hit. And after about a couple hours of sitting there, the weather lifted enough to where she could proceed to where she was headed, to the end of that route. And what I love about STA is they're a local job, and a lot of the drivers I talk to state that the reason they chose STA over Greyhound is because they wanted a local job. They wanted to be home every night. They wanted to be with their families. And quite frankly, the drivers for Spokane Transit Authority are phenomenal. Most of them are very excellent drivers. Well, this driver I was riding with yesterday stated that, yeah, speed limit's 45, but I'm only doing 35. I'm going to be turning up here anyway. It's not that far. There's no need to hit 45 when I'm just going to be turning up here in about 200 feet. Really. Well, 100 yards. So why would I go to 45 when I'm just going to be going about about 3/4 of a mile? It just burns extra fuel, adds extra risk. There's no need for it. And we actually arrived at the layover point where there was actually enough time. We were able to talk about things continuing for about 10-15 minutes before she had to continue on. She stated that the conditions were really bad and unexpected. And, she's a really good driver. I've ridden with her quite frequently. I'm one of her regulars. And she stated that, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, she stated the conditions were horrid. Just absolutely horrid the day of that pileup. Soon as she crested that hill, it was nothing but fog and snow. No one saw it coming, not even her. She'd been driving in this area for a good amount of time, too. All right, I woke up that day. I looked out my window, and all I could see was a wall of fog. She just started her shift that day, too. When she first came up that hill, she did not know. All right, before you go bad-mouthing drivers and stuff, understand this. If you were not there, you cannot bad-mouth them. Because quite frankly, for 70 vehicles to pile up, right? Now, hold on. Let's rewind a little. From the crest of that hill all the way out to all the way out till about even further than Moses Lake. It's a 70-mile-an-hour zone. And from the peak of that hill, from the crest of the hill, all the way to the state line is 60, right? Now, let me explain to you this. A bunch of you have no idea what it's like to drive in conditions where it is great conditions for a while, and then all of a sudden, it's virtually a hazard to your own health to drive. Y'all had no idea what that's like. Okay, I have been a plow operator's assistant. I done it before. Plow operators, I've seen it before with my very own eyes riding shotgun with them. Them conditions, okay, they get called out. The conditions are already deteriorating. And There was a lot of times where the plow operator and I, we were splitting the duties, and it was hell. And we were sitting there on the edge of our seats, literally nervous. And at one point, it got so bad we could honestly not even see past our own plow on the front of that truck. Right? It was bad. There were a lot of times where that was the case. Couldn't even make out a delineator. You were literally flying by GPS. That was the only way you were navigating. I bet the conditions were that bad out in that area where if you didn't have GPS, you weren't navigating. All right, now, don't go bad-mouthing people. Don't give them a bad time about things. Okay? Guaranteed, that damage that happened to all those vehicles out there, just the vehicles alone, it most likely amounted to tens of millions of dollars. The damage to the highway transportation, the highway system was probably in the millions of dollars. It was a big enough scene that all emergency services from all the way out at the state line, the whole county was asked to respond. It was that bad. Firehouses that rarely ever got to play on the freeway, and I don't mean that in a good way. Firehouses that rarely ever get the opportunity to go out and respond on the freeway got the opportunity to. I can tell you factually, any and all wreckers that were available were sent out to that scene. There were trapped occupants. There was rolled over vehicles. It was nasty from what the driver explained to me. It was nasty. And I can tell you factually, nothing is more nerve-wracking than that. Nothing. All right? I have done emergency services to a mild degree before, all right? I can tell you factually, you can't unsee injuries of other people. You can't unsee things that you'd like to unsee. Before you go bad-mouthing drivers and whatnot, understand this. A lot of them saw very traumatic injuries. I will not tolerate people bad-mouthing people. And a lot of my subscribers know this. Fortunately, no one bad-mouths anyone on this channel about that. I appreciate that. And I thank you for that. Let's continue to keep it that way. Understand, we are all human. We all make mistakes, and there are things we just cannot predict. Thank you all very greatly. I certainly appreciate you watching this video all the way through. And please do like, comment, subscribe. Just rate, comment, subscribe. Whatever you want to do, do it. If you didn't totally agree with this, but you still want to support, a thumbs down is just as much of a help as a thumbs up in the algorithm. But the thumbs down tells the creator general things. And if you do give me a thumbs down to help support me, explain what you disagreed with, I will most likely be revisiting this one at a later point in time. Thank you, and have a very amazing day. Most of you will be viewing this on a Monday morning. And I apologize if I hurt your little feelers, but you know what? I'm just calling it like I see it, all right? Been there, done that, seen conditions that bad. A lot of you do not know what it's like. A lot of you, there's a lot of people who just flat out do not know what that's like. Have a great one, and we'll see you in another video.